Hey everyone, welcome back to Lilia's Mix. This month I have an awesome video for you on a topic that I am sure is relevant to a lot of you. It's how to get your husband or boyfriend to work out and take better care of his health. So ladies, give me a thumbs up if you've ever struggled with this issue. Unfortunately, many men think that because they're born to have more testosterone, they are strong by default and don't need to work for it. Nothing could be further from the truth. We all need to put a lot of effort into becoming strong and fit regardless of your disposition. Now, I've had this issue before, and today we will talk about Bruno and how I got him to be motivated to start working out and being more health conscious. So first, I signed him up for the City 5K race. Now, I found out about this race 6 weeks before it happened, so we trained for 6 weeks to work towards it. The training was that we'd focus on building up his endurance gradually. So about 4 days a week, he would row for 8 to 10 minutes on our indoor rowing machine. And then every weekend, we'd do a distance run. So on weeks 1 to 2, the distance we covered was just between 1 mile and 2 kilometers because he's never run any substantial distance in his life. So he started out with fairly short distances, but between 1 mile and 2 kilometers was a good distance for him to start out with. Then on weeks 3 to 4, we increased the runs to being 2 to 3 kilometers. And then on weeks 5 through 6, I had him run between 3 to 4K, almost 5, pushing that 5K mark as long as he could manage. So the way that we did the running training was we did fartlek style interval training. Now, fartlek interval training is when you mix the lower and higher intensity intervals according to how you feel. So with fartlek training, there's no specific time or distance that you do for your higher and lower intensity intervals. You really just go by feel. Now, fartlek training is great for beginners because for a beginner, it's all about just getting them used to the feeling of working out and then the mindset, the idea of doing physical fitness training. It's not really about achieving a specific outcome right at the beginning. It's just about to get comfortable with the idea of working out. So in general, for him, the running intervals ended up being about 30 to 60 seconds, and the walking intervals ended up being about 1 to 2 minutes in length, so about a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 work-rest ratio. And within that general work-rest ratio, we'd gradually increase the distance, going from 1 mile to 2 to 3K to 4 to 5K. So this may seem like pretty low volume training, but again, for beginners, it's all about showing up and trying, doing it, not about hitting any specific numbers. Actually, that can be very off-putting. When you are an experienced exerciser or athlete and you're trying to get someone less experienced into it, the way to make them quit right away is by imposing a very high intensity training regimen onto them. That just doesn't work. We all need to start somewhere. If you're advanced, you probably started right at the beginning too. We all need to start somewhere. So if you've been training all your life, just really think about meeting this person where they're at currently. Don't project onto them. And within that fartlek style training, he was able to gradually increase the amount of time that he ran before needing to walk again. So in the first week, he could only run for about 30 seconds before needing to go to walking. But then after about a month, he increased to 60 seconds straight of running before needing to walk, or even a little bit more than a minute straight of running. So never give up on someone in a beginner, no matter how slowly they start. Just keep having faith in them to push through. It's all about the progress and motivation to keep going. And keep in mind that beginners are not used to the idea of pushing their physical limits, probably not pushing their mental limits either in this case. So a lot of it has to do with building the mental toughness to push through when they feel like quitting, as well as the physical fitness. Never try to force max effort training right away. Don't try to get them to work to exhaustion, or it'll just make them hate fitness right in the beginning and refuse to continue. So his time in the 5K was 50 minutes and 51 seconds, and he was so proud of himself for finishing. It was awesome. Now, 50 minutes for a 5K, that is not considered a fast time, but again, it's all about just getting a beginner who's never ran before to go through the whole process, start and cross the finish line. So, showing up is what truly matters, not the outcome and the drive to continue improving. Something else that made the 5K race a lot more difficult was the fact that it was in Montgomery, Alabama during the middle of March, which usually is when it starts to warm up, but it just so happened that the day of the race was a very cold day. It was the coldest race day they've ever had. It was right at freezing temperature, about 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, and windy, so that made it all the more uncomfortable. I mean, for all of the beginners running the race for the first time, having it be freezing temperature and windy made it a lot more challenging. So I was extremely proud of his tenacity to just go for it. He was so emotional approaching the finish line, crossing the finish line. He was like, "Yay, I did it. I'm so proud of myself." I was like, "Yeah, you did it. I'm so proud of you too." Because I could tell when he was approaching the finish line, getting his heart rate and breathing rate up. If it were just a regular training day, he would have switched on to walking by that point, but just seeing that finish line, be like, "Yeah, I can see it. It's right there. I'm gonna go for it." He was motivated and then ran a longer distance than he usually does. So it was really awesome to see him crossing the finish line like that. The time doesn't even matter, but for a first timer who's never ran before, 50 minutes and 51 seconds, that is actually a pretty good time. That's about 10 minutes per kilometer. For a first timer, that's not bad at all. So we have a good starting point. We're gonna keep working from there. Maybe next time he'll do it in around 45 minutes, and then 40, and then 35, and just keep improving from there. So in this case, the phrase progress, not perfection, is very relevant. So some common obstacles that you'd run into when trying to motivate a husband or boyfriend who doesn't normally work out would be that they just want to quit. They say, "This is for you, it's for them, it is not for me, not for me." So in that case, just remind him that everyone has a body. Everyone needs to take care of their body. Your body is where you live all your life. You may move around, travel around, but you always exist in your own body. So everyone needs to take care of it. Be open and flexible to different types of training methods. So again, don't try to impose any one method onto him. You can do some research, like beginner 5K training program, and see what comes up, but always be flexible about modifying it to him. So during the race, I ran alongside him, being like a cheerleader and motivator. I didn't want to just run ahead and leave him behind all by himself. So keep that in mind. You might need to just leave your ego out the door and just motivate this person to start their journey. If you've been an athlete all your life or been exercising for a long time, you've probably already had the chance to push yourself and prove yourself. So now just focus on being the best possible support system for this person who's just starting their journey. And then another obstacle for beginner exercisers is saying, "Because I burned some calories, now I can eat whatever." I say, "Yo, it doesn't work that way. If you burned 150 calories in your running session, you should not go and eat 250 calories after that. That is counterproductive." So at first that was his logic, but then I noticed after about a month, the act of doing physical fitness made him more aware of his food intake as well, because you really feel the difference between eating a heavy fattening meal than running versus eating a filling yet healthy meal. We generally ran before lunch, not after, but still, the act of starting to use your body and push your physical limits more makes a person more aware of everything going on in their body. So it makes you more aware of how a certain type of meal affects you, how you feel better after eating a more nutritionally balanced, moderately portioned meal compared to filling yourself up on grease and sugar and stuff like that. So I noticed for him, the act of doing physical fitness training, going through those motions, it increased his overall health consciousness in other areas like diet, and also gave him more appreciation for mental discipline, the act of pushing your limits. So all of that goes hand in hand. It's really exciting to see someone go from being reluctant to working out to seeing how the physical fitness training translates and benefits all other areas of their life too, because that's a common reason people give for not working out. A lot of people say, well, I'm not shallow, I'm not body obsessed. Especially men who don't like working out may say, oh, but working out is for women because they're the ones who care about looking sexy. I don't really care about being sexy. I'm not body conscious. And then, by going through those motions and running that race, he can realize that it's really not about body consciousness. It is about how to use your body to benefit your life in general. The body can teach the mind how to be more disciplined and focused. And you just really put it all together. So yeah, those are some common obstacles you'd go through when motivating a beginner. They're wanting to quit in the beginning. They're thinking that burning a few calories lets them eat whatever they want afterwards, and just saying like, well, this is not for me. But all of those issues can be addressed.
Hello guys, I'm Lilia's Mix. I'm here to talk about how this was meaningful to me. Before this race, I didn't like to exercise much. I was not this person. Then Lilia said, there's this marathon in Montgomery. Do you want to participate? That could be a good chance for you to train, exercise, run with me. And I said, yes, I'll give it a shot. Then I started running with her. And in this process I felt more confident on myself, like trying something that I never tried before, but being hard at some point, but seeing that I could do it. And I could feel the effects of this in my health, because after this I started like breathing better. I'm a musician, I play drums in a band. I could see in my performances that I started to play better, my ankles wouldn't hurt, my back, I had more energy. I felt that I could finish the show with less effort than I used to back in the day. So I'm playing better, I'm living better, I'm breathing better, I'm eating better now because of this training we had for this race. So I'm really thankful for my wife for convincing me of this, because now I feel better in every possible way. Thank you, Lydia.
So if any of you ladies have gone through the same process and have some other tips, tricks, and strategies that work, by all means let us know in the comments, or if you all have any questions, I'd be happy to type up an answer to them as best I can for your situation. And just remember that hitting that like and subscribe button is a whole lot easier than running a 5K in freezing temperature weather. So go ahead and hit both of those buttons, a thumbs up and a nice subscribe button right there, because next month I'll have another exciting and useful practical topic for all of you. So Until then, take care and see y'all next time.